Markets have recovered and recovered quite a bit, so we are just down about 20-24 points now, and the recovery has been led by the PSU banking space. So if you look at a SBI, it's almost at the day's high. You look at a PNB, I'm not sure if it's at the day's high, but it's done quite well. So when we spoke to the management, it was around 74.50. Now it's about 76.40. So it's up about 3% right now. SBI, there you go, 1.1% higher. PNB is up about 3%. When we spoke to the management, it was up about 0.5% or so. Currently going towards the day's highest point. BOB is not exactly at the day's high. It's up about 0.5% or so. But banking names, especially SBI, is leading the way on the higher side. Ruchit Jain, equity technical analyst at Angel Broking, is now with us. Ruchit, what do you make of this trend that we are seeing every time we are going on the lower side?
Yeah, good afternoon, Pankaj. Pankaj, overall, although we are trading in this range of 77.50 to 79.50, but however, as you said, every time the market corrects to the lower end of the range, there is some demand or there is some buying coming in from those levels. So that's a positive sign. Everyone knows that we are trading in a range since last few sessions, and the directional momentum in the markets would come in. Either we break down of the support of 77.50 or we give a breakout of the resistance of 79.50, 8,000 range. Now the question is, where would the breakout come? Will it come on the upside or will it come on the downside? Now few technical indicators are indicating that the breakout would go on the upside this time. Firstly, if we see the previous trend, then the previous trend was up after the day of budget. Nifty was forming high top, high bottom. The momentum readings came in overbought zone, from where we are seeing now this sideways movement. There are two types of correction in the markets. One is time correction and one is price correction. What we are observing in Nifty right now is the time correction wherein the markets are trading sideways, and once they resume their previous trend, then there is a high probability of the trend continuing on the upside. Secondly, also at lower levels, as you said, every time market corrects, gives a gap down opening, goes down, again buying emerging from those. So we are not seeing that aggressive selling in the market or broad-based selling in the markets currently. So these are few of the indications that the markets should give a breakout on the upside, and the 7950, 8,000 levels should be taken out very soon.
Right, and would you want to buy, into this dip of 20-30 points that we are seeing now, or wait for another gap down opening?
No, I think even at current levels, one can look to buy Nifty. Overall, even if you observe last 8 to 9 trading sessions, just see candlestick charts of last 8 to 9 trading sessions. We are, after every opening, after gap down openings, we are seeing a recovery, and the closing is almost there near the highs of the day. If we observe last 9-10 candles, then there was only, I think, one of a day on 13th wherein markets closed on the negative side. Otherwise, for most of the days after from opening, if you compare, the markets are always closed higher. So that shows that every gap down opening or at the lower level, some sort of buying is coming in. So just for 20-30 points or another gap down opening, I don't think that would make much a difference for traders. So even at current levels, I think it's a good opportunity where one can create long positions. And secondly, why one should create even at current level? Because if the breakout comes on the higher side as we are expecting, so after the breakout, there would be some short covering. Those are shorts in the system that would come out. And then secondly, even fresh longs would come after the breakout because the range has been broken. So that would lead to a very sharp upside momentum. So we are still in the range, and doesn't matter if 20-30 points here or there. At current levels also, one can look to take a buying position in the index.
Right, and what is that upside resistance that you're looking at, the range when we break on the upper end?
On the higher side, 7960 is the first resistance. So first, in case if 7960 is broken, then I think this 8100, 8150 would very easily be achievable.
Right, and do you think that this range will be broken up this time? We have tested it earlier. Do you think there are chances we may break it this time, because we are just not falling?
Yeah, I think we would break it this time. Timing is a bit very difficult over here now, because it's a very tight range that we have seen. So whether it happens in a day or two, or whether it takes more 4-5 days of consolidation and then a breakout comes, that is very difficult to analyze over here. But there's more probability on the directional front this time rather than on the time front. So I think one should just keep a bit more horizon of at least 6 to 8 trading sessions, wherein even if next 4 to 5 days, if the index continues to consolidate, then there won't be a problem. Even if the breakout comes a day or after the day of expiry, then also I think those who are positional traders are holding the long, they would benefit from it.
Right. How would you look at the move in the PSU banks? I mean, something like a PNB, very poor set of numbers, but the stock is up 3%.
Pankaj, PSU banks, one needs to take our overall perspective what has happened in last 2-3 months. We have not seen any major movement or any upside movement in PSU banks in spite of Bank Nifty moving up in the month of March and April, and also so far in the month of May. So 2.5 months Bank Nifty has moved up significantly from its lower levels, but that has been clearly led by private sector banks and not by PSU banks. So PSU banks, there are a lot of short positions still there in the index. Secondly, now the short portion needs to be covered for the stocks to move up. So directionally, they are not still in an uptrend, or there is no high top, high bottom formation what we have seen in private sector banks. Now, Bank Nifty, if you talk about Bank Nifty, then similar to Nifty resistance around 7960, Bank Nifty has resistance around 17,050. So Bank Nifty needs to take out 17,050 for that short covering move to bring in. So what the shorts are there in the PSU banks, if Bank Nifty manages to go above 17,050, I think that would lead to some short covering in the PSU banks. So as of now, one should not be in a hurry to do any kind of bottom fishing in the PSU banks. Definitely from trading perspective, I would wait for some more time. Let Bank Nifty cross the 17,050 hurdle. I think then some short covering would be seen in PSU banks. And also if we go stock specific within the PSU banks, I don't think one should,
Ruchit, just stay on with us. JSW Steel has declared numbers, and the numbers are looking broadly in line with a positive bias. So the gross turnover has come in at 11,597 crores. The operating EBITDA has come in at 1,825 crores. That's again looking to be a good number. Standalone performance, operating EBITDA 1,774 crores. Saleable steel at about 3.2 million. And the steel production has come in at about 3.2 million shares. Broadly, good set of numbers. The initial reaction is on the positive side. We're already up about 1.5%. The EBITDA has come in at 1825 crores, and that tells you that the numbers are broadly good. Total income coming in at 10,697, slightly below estimate, and the net profit at about 174 crores. 171 crores. Sorry, not 174 crores, 171 crores versus about 62 odd crores. Good set of numbers, decent set of numbers. The name is up about 1.8 odd %. Ruchit, any view on JSW Steel? On the charts, it's looking one of the best ones.
Yeah, overall the chart structure is positive, but I think some resistance would coming in around 1350 levels. Recently during this corrective move from we had seen a gap down opening at 1350. So according to the gap theory, that would act as a resistance. Also there is a super trend indicator resistance around 1350. So one needs to watch whether in this movement it takes out that 1350 levels. If 1350 is crossed, then definitely I think on the upside 1425, 1450 would be quite possible for JSW Steel to achieve in near term.
Right. Overall, from the steel pack, what do you like?
Yeah, overall, from the steel pack, JSW Steel is positive here. And even we are keenly watching Tata Steel. After giving a previous impulsive move, the stock is now in corrective mode. It's just a correction of the uptrend, and I think the momentum readings also are trading at quite at the support levels. So I think if Tata Steel manages to cross about 332, 333, then the uptrend could resume in that too. So JSW Steel and Tata Steel would be the two stocks if one to look from positive perspective in the steel pack.
Right. How would you look at some of the other names? So something like a Havells, which has done very well. How would you look at that name?
The trend definitely continues to be positive since the stock is trading near its all-time high level. But I won't recommend it to go to do any kind of fresh long positions over here. Couple of reasons behind that. Firstly, in spite of crossing the previous highs in prices, the RSI is not crossing its previous highs. So that's a bit of negative sign, or that's a sign of cautious over here. Secondly, generally when stock moves to all-time high, its target areas are calculated by previous corrective moves reciprocal retracement. So 127% reciprocal retracement of that is coming around 370, which the stock has already achieved today. So a bit of resistance could come in, a bit of profit booking could come in over here. So anyone having long positions in the stock can look to book profits at current levels. One should not go short in the stock because it would be against the broader trend. But definitely long positions should be looked to exit over here.
Right. As far as Motherson Sumi is concerned, yesterday up 6, today down 4. Was that a false breakout?
No, I don't think that's a false breakout, Pankaj. In fact, I think today's correction is just a pullback move after yesterday's rally. A couple of things that after a correction of 6 to 8 months, the stock had formed a inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is a reversal pattern generally formed after a big correction. Yesterday, the breakout was on accounted of very good volumes. So a breakout with good volumes, and then today's down move just seemed to be a pullback rally. I think the stock would again resume the uptrend, and on the higher side, again the stock would move up to 300, 305 levels. So it's a good buying opportunity. Today's correction, one should keep a stop loss below 255 in the stock and go long at current levels.
Right. How would you look at ONGC? Last 3-4 days, it's been particularly good. But do you think ONGC is looking good?
Overall, this stock has traded in a range bound since last, I think, many months now. 200 to 225, 230 has been the range for the stock. Again, previously the stock did give a breakout of this falling channel around 218, but that didn't sustain about those levels. And again, the stock came to lower end of 200. Last two sessions, if we see the 200 again acted as a support and his stock is moving higher. Volumes are good this time, so probably still I think 200 to 230 range would remain intact. The stock would move just higher up to 230, which is the higher end of the range.
Right, but you would want to buy into that range or just avoid that name?
Yeah, definitely. If it comes to the lower end of the range, whenever the stock comes to the lower end of the range, the risk reward becomes quite much favorable over there. So I think now the stock has already moved up. In case if we get it again around 200, 205 range, so I think it would be good risk reward ratio over there to create long positions.
Right, but as of now, nothing. I mean, after the yesterday's move, just avoid that name.
Yeah, if anyone has already created long positions at lower levels, then they can continue to hold. Again, the higher end of the range would come around 230. So 225 to 230 range could be used as profit booking. But those who are not into the stock, wait again if the stock comes to the lower level of 200, 205, look to enter longs over there.
Right. As far as some of the other names are concerned from the large cap space, names that have done decently well. Any names you like from the private sector names? So maybe a Yes Bank or maybe a IndusInd Bank. They've done phenomenally well in the last 15-20 days, or maybe last 40 days as well.
Yeah, amongst the private sector banks, I think Kotak Bank could do well going ahead. Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank, definitely the trend for these stocks is quite bullish, but risk reward ratio for fresh buying does not seem to be much favorable over here. Kotak Bank has been steadily forming high top, high bottom formation. We have not seen any kind of one-way up move which would lead to momentum readings in overbought zone. The prices have corrected from 740 to 700, and around 680, 690. There is a very strong support zone over there. So the downside seems to be quite limited after this corrective move in last 3-4 trading sessions. So keep a stop loss below 680, and one can look to buy Kotak Bank. If this high top, high bottom formation again continues, then I think 750, 755 is quite possible that the stock could show in near term.
Right, Ruchit. Ruchit, just stay on with us. We're taking a break. We're coming back in 2 minutes. JSW Steel has declared numbers. The name is absolutely flat. Is yet to be seen. However, numbers are looking decent, and the stock is also done quite well, 1.5% higher. Just wanted to highlight there is a sudden surge in Piramal Enterprise. It's up 7% right now, 1430 odd levels. So it was trading around the 1450 mark, 1460 mark when we started the show, but there has been a sudden surge over there. Piramal Enterprise, that's a name which is looking in very, very good. We'll just pull up that name, Piramal Enterprise, PEL. 1430 is where it is trading at. Let's actually look at some other names as well. So Kalpataru, Piramal Enterprise, there you go. The sharp surge that is there. Ruchit Jain is still with us. Ruchit, if we look at some of the mid-cap names and what's essentially happening over there, do you track Aditya Birla Nuvo? How is it looking? Very strong up move in the last few days.
Yeah, Pankaj, after a long consolidation, I think again this high top, high bottom formation has started being in formation in this stock. this up move could go up to 1100 or 1120 levels. But I think on the upside, since the data in the stock is limited on the charts after this split which has happened on 20th of Jan. So I think with the limited data, I can see that on the higher side 1120 is possible. But beyond that, I think technically I won't be able to give any view on this.
Right. How would you essentially look, Ruchit, at something like a HCL Tech, which has clearly fallen quite a lot, and it's now starting to recover a little bit?
Yeah, so overall the trend for the stock clearly remains down. Last time 775, 780 was the major support zone which the stock had broken, and after that support was broken, we had seen that there were huge short positions formed in this stock, which led it down towards 75, 710. I think more of a due to short covering or due to momentum being in momentum readings being in oversold zone, this pullback move is there. I'm not too optimistic on this stock. Again, if this stock comes around 775, 780 range, I think it would resist over there. And those traders who are already stuck on their long positions on their would try to exit from this stock around 775, 780. So I'm not much optimistic on HCL Tech. And instead of this, I think TCS would do better from the IT space if anyone is looking from short-term trading perspective. This stock has outperformed Infosys and TCS. Both these stocks had outperformed the overall Nifty IT index. And this stock is showing strength by continuously forming high top, high bottom formation, then consolidating and again resuming the broader uptrend. So I think TCS has a better risk reward ratio and a better chart structure rather than HCL Tech.
Right. How would you look at United Spirits? It's down about 3.5%.
2495 is a support level for this stock. As of now, there's no formation of high top, high bottom. It's broadly a consolidation range of 2800 to 2200, which is going on in the stock, I think, since last 4 to 5 months. So I'm still expecting this range bound activity to continue. Needs to see whether the short term support of 2490 around 2490 holds on. If the stock manages to give a bounce back from 2490, I think then only one should consider this as this for buying. And in case if this downside momentum continues in tomorrow's trading session of 1 or 2 more trading sessions, then I think it could again lead the stock towards the lower end of the range of 20 to 50.
Right. How would you go ahead and look at DLF 127? It still continues to be in a range.
I think this would continue to stay positive. In fact, if we see entire real estate pack, I'm just tracking this all the 3 large cap large names of DLF, India Bull Real Estate and SDIL, and all the moves from the low in last 3 months have been impulsive up move. So a 5-wave movement is going on. A 5-wave up move is going on in these real estate stocks. In spite of whatever the fundamentals being in the stock, the price movement is saying that the uptrend in the stock has started. So probably any sort of correction, next corrective movement comes in the stocks, which I think the next correction would be time-wise correction in by going sideways rather than price correction over here. India Bull Real Estate is clearly in wave 3. Even SDIL is trading in wave 3, and that's why we are seeing this sharp up move. So I think in short term, this uptrend is to continue in real estate stocks. One should not preempt any kind of top, or one should not go short in the stocks just because the stock has risen significantly from their lower levels. Talking about levels, I think DLF has potential to go up to 135 in very short term. Even SDIL still is in wave 3 and India Bull Real Estate still in wave 3. So I think a sideways consolidation would come in both of these stocks when a wave 4 correction goes on, and then again they would resume the uptrend. So it's clearly buy and dip strategy should be used in all the 3 stocks at DLF, IBReal and SDIL.
Right, Ruchit. Ruchit, just stay on with us. About a minute remaining for closing, and markets have recovered quite a bit. Again, this is something encouraging. This is something which people would take in quite positively. We are closing in almost towards the day's high, 7,875. So again, continues to see buying at the 7,800 level. Hindalco 0.1% higher. Adani Ports down about 0.1. BHEL down 1%. ONGC 1.5% higher. ITC up 0.8. NTPC absolutely flat. HDFC Limited 0.7% lower. Z Entertainment cracked today, down 2%. Tata Steel 329. I think Tata Steel moved up after the JSW Steel numbers came out. Yes Bank absolutely flat. Coal India 0.25% higher. Tata Power up about 0.25%. Sun Pharma 0.5% down. Bharti absolutely flat. Infosys down about 0.16%. HCL Tech up 1.1%. Maruti down about 1%. 3,910. Reliance 75 paisa higher. L&T up 1.4%. 1,310. BPCL down about 1.4%. Power Grid 1% lower. Wipro absolutely flat. HUL down about 1%. Tech Mahindra 0.3% on the higher side. Asian Paints, no major change. Tata Motors DVR down about 1.3. That's the closing bell. 19 points lower, but that's the provisional close. So you will probably get a better close or the adjusted close coming in the next few minutes. Lupin up 1.5%, 1638. Results for Lupin come out tomorrow. So maybe strong ahead of numbers. IndusInd Bank 0.1% higher, 1,085. Cipla flat, absolutely flat. Hero MotoCorp 1.7% lower. Bajaj Auto down about 1.8. Dr. Reddy's up about 0.3%. Ultratech was down 1%. ACC was down about 1.2. Eicher Motors 0.5% higher, 18,699. Ruchit, any view on the closing? We have closed at the 7,871 mark at the day's high. Again, continues to show that despite FII selling, despite negative global cues, our market continues to look one of the best.
Yes, Pankaj, as I know, at the start of this, just half an hour back, we said that after a gap down opening, last few trading sessions, always it has been used as a buying opportunity, and there are more sessions when prices have closed at the higher end of the day rather than closing at the lower end of the day. So that's a positive sign. Today, in spite of giving a gap down opening, by the closing hour, we have closed that gap and we have almost filled that gap. So there is no negative gap remain in the index now after this positive closing or after this closing near the day's high. So that's a positive sign, and I think that should be taken positively. And in near term, whenever the index crosses above the 7950, 7960 resistance, I think there's a way ahead where markets would take it higher above 8,000. And one should look at Bank Nifty. I believe that Bank Nifty would be the leading index rather than Nifty crossing. Before Nifty crossing 7960, Bank Nifty, if it manages to cross 17,050, then that would be an indication that the uptrend has resumed and again positive momentum would be seen.
Right. How would you look at Voltas? Yesterday was up 5%. Today is down 2.5% after the results.
So I think it's still an uptrend. We have not seen any major profit booking or any major downside momentum in recent past. So on the higher side, the all-time high or recent high of September, which was around 358, 360, the stock should go and at least test those levels. So one should not be in a hurry to short or to exit from the stock. Long position should be remained intact for a target of 355 to 360 range.
Right, Ruchit, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always a pleasure talking to you. We have the adjusted closing with us. Nifty is down about 20 odd points. We're taking a break. We are coming back into the break. Let's listen into